Hi everybody, Carl Keister here, ClearSurf Financial Education. Welcome back. So this is a topic I'm going to be discussing today, and that is, which way do you need to go to pay down debt? In other words, what order should you take this? So I've done videos in the past about paying down a mortgage, and you can check those out. Paying down a mortgage, also credit card hacks as well. So go check those out. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you haven't already, and the notification so when I put these videos out, you'll know when the next one's out. So first of all, I want to let you know that the first thing you need to do in understanding your debt, you need to have an idea. A lot of people, they don't look at bank statements, or they just make sure that there's enough money in there to pay the next bill that's going out. And if you really want to get your debt under control, the best thing you can do is sit down and that is look at the whole picture. You need to look at, and I would recommend doing a budget. I've created a course on how to do this. There's links over here to the right on that course, and it really does help you figure out where you are, more importantly, because the only way to get to where you need to go, to figure out where you're going to go and how long it's going to take you to get there, is you need to understand your whole financial picture. So sounds like a lot of common sense, but you will be surprised at the number of people that don't take that first step. They jump ahead and they think, well, I paid on this credit card, or I try to match up the income and expenses. But the first step is going to be understanding how much income you have coming in, what your expenses are, and what is your current outstanding debt. So that's first and foremost. Number two is you want to track that spending through the budget. And I do it on a spreadsheet. I'm old school. I've been using spreadsheets for 20 years and I'm very comfortable with that. It allows me to look at quarter over quarter spending. I know if seasonal spending is coming up, I can see last year that big ticket items come up at certain times, maybe a life insurance policy comes due, something like that that I need to prepare for. And it allows me to look year over year as well. So I know not everyone is going to want to sit down with a spreadsheet and do that, but this can be done with a very simple pen and paper to figure out what's the income, what are the expenses, and then also, the next thing I look at number three is to look at what you can cut out. So, the needs and the wants. You need the lights on, you need to have a place to stay, a car to drive to get to work, but the wants is, do you need to go out to eat, 2 times a week, 3 times a week, or can you go without? And quite frankly, if you are, one that likes to give gifts on the holidays and birthdays, fantastic. But I would also say if you're using a credit card to buy gifts and to do things that aren't helping you get into a better financial position, I don't know. I kind of blame the media for every 7 seconds on your scroll telling you that you need to be buying this for yourself or for someone else. And if you don't do it, you're not a good person. Honestly, I don't buy into that. I really don't. I think that I believe in the old airplane model. Put the mask on yourself first, because if you don't do that, you can't help anybody else around you. So I really am a firm believer of look at what you've got. Look at your situation. Look at your debt. Figure out where your spending is, where your money's going, and then figure out what you can eliminate. And if it means buying less expensive gifts or going without, then so be it. If that's what helps you get to a better place in life and more financially secure, you can sleep better, then by all means, do not listen to the mainstream media and do not listen to the advertisers, because their job is to get you to spend not 100% of what you make, but to get you to spend 110 or 120% of what you make and constantly keep you in debt. So don't buy into that. So once we get through, we look at it, we budget it, we figure out what we can cut. Then you want to look at consolidation. So maybe the answer for you is if you've got multiple credit cards, maybe consolidate onto one credit card with a 0 APR. Some of them will offer 6 or 12 month 0 APR. The interest you're going to save alone can help whittle down that balance. And that's where I would go to next. And then, look at the debt payoff. So ideally, there's really low interest rates out there now. You might be able to get a personal loan and consolidate those things. So let's just say you've got 2 or 3 credit cards and they're 15 to 25%, whatever the case may be. You may be able to go to your credit union or to a personal loan, wherever you bank with, and get that really much lower interest rate that could help you get ahead and just part of the process. So the other thing also that I get asked quite a bit is, if you've got credit card debt, or you don't have the option to move those onto a zero interest balance at the time, how do you go about it? And it's funny because I've watched the rants of Dave Ramsey, and he does not subscribe to having any credit cards. I understand that. I get where he's coming from, because you look at 75% of Americans don't pay their credit card off every month. Yes, then it means every single coffee you buy, every single gift you buy gets tacked on there, and you're adding 25 to 30% interest on every purchase. You never get out of debt that way. That's just a fact. You will never be out of debt. And I pulled up some numbers. Last year, the average revolving debt was $6,300. The average mortgage was over $215,000, and the average household had $145,000 in debt. So even those folks that don't have a mortgage, they've got revolving lines of credit, personal debt, credit cards, student loans. Pretty much as a country, we've been convinced that it's okay to be in your 20s and 30s and have more debt by the thousands than you are of age. Meaning 20-year-olds with over $20,000 in debt, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds with $30,000 and $40,000. I'm not talking about mortgage, I'm talking about debt. And it just really boils down to we've been conditioned that you don't need to save. You don't need to wait to get what you want. You can just go put it on a credit card. And that point, I do believe with Dave Ramsey that you really don't need credit cards, because they will just keep sucking you in and you'll never get out of that. It just doesn't seem like anybody wants to save anymore for something. They just want to throw it on a credit card and figure it out next month, but then next month becomes next year, and that cycle just never changes. So, okay, with that being said, then I would say it depends on your mindset. If you're one of those 75% that does not pay off the credit card every month, and you're someone that likes to see you're chipping away at something, yeah, then I believe what Dave Ramsey said is true. Take the lowest credit card balance and pay that one off first, because even if it has a higher interest rate, you're not going to save as much money that way, obviously, because you're paying down a higher rate credit card. But if you feel as though you eliminate one of your three cards, you feel accomplished, and that gives you the motivation to stick with it, to keep moving forward, to work on that next card, then by all means do it. If you're an analytical person or you're a disciplined person, then I would say your best bet is to take that highest interest rate card after you did some consolidation, or if you're not able to consolidate, take the highest interest rate card, put everything you can on that until that's gone, and then work on the next highest rate card. But I also, as I mentioned earlier, I love the idea of trying to put it onto another card at 0%. They may charge you 3% for a balance transfer for 6 months or a year, but 3% versus 30, and that whole time you're putting down that interest you're saving plus any money you've been able to cut out of your budget, that all goes towards paying down those debts. You'll get there a lot faster. Okay. And then the other thing I would say too is also new cars. I'm going to throw that out there. I mean, that's not on my list, but now that I'm sitting here thinking about this, I mean, I bought one new car in my life and I kept it for 13 years. So if you're a person that wants to get out of debt, buying a new car, even though it might be 0% interest on that new car, your payment's going to be much higher. Pulled up some numbers here. So the average new car payment in the second quarter of this year, average new car payment of $568. The average used car payment was $394. So just with simple math there, it looks like that's about $171. So even if you went with that used car versus a new car, that's $200. And you go ahead and transfer money onto transfer onto a little credit card to give you 0% interest. These are things that $200 plus another $100 in savings on interest by flipping it over, you'd be surprised how quick that $300 can help you get down there. So, and I'm not saying this is easy, trust me. I know with this COVID going on right now, people have lost hours, people have lost jobs. So this is probably not the easiest time to talk about paying down credit cards. But the reason I wanted to bring this up is because so many people are feeling the pinch right now. I just wanted to get my opinion out there on what to do. So again, if you're a disciplined individual and you still have your same job and the hours and the money is the same as it was at the beginning of the year, by all means, try the transfers. If that doesn't work, knock off the highest interest rate first and work your way down. So again, it's just a little bit of what I feel as though is a good way to go about paying down debt. I know for me, when I first bought my house, I was 22 and I had major expenses I haven't seen in a long time, appliances and things. And I was just possessed to pay that off. I just hated the thought of handing somebody interest for something I had to have. I had to have a washer and dryer, and I had to have living room furniture and things of that nature. So, there's always going to be medical, there's always going to be things that pop up for kids or grandkids that's needed. So there will be times you might have credit card debt on there, but by all means, take care of the needs, but just keep in mind, maybe you want to turn off the TV, turn off the social media for a little bit, and you won't feel as compelled you have to have the next iPhone or the next earbuds or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, hit the like and subscribe, and also there's links to my course over here on the right. So I go through budgeting, how to save money on taxes, retirement planning, estate planning. I go into a lot of things that aren't really taught in school, which is why I created that course. But if nothing else, please hit the like and subscribe and notifications so that you'll get these videos as they come out, and I'll stay on top of this for you. So, all right, until next time.